Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to Kick Rock's podcast, Two Drink Minimum. It's been a while, but do you guys remember when we had that podcast about our favorite movies that came out when we were 21? Well, we did something completely different this time, and we took off 10 years. So this coming up is our favorite movies from when we were 11 years old. Aw, young Kicker Rockers we were. And here are our favorite movies from way back when. So have a drink with us, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Gentlemen, and to those listening at home, cheers.
Cheers. Clink.
Welcome to Kick Rock's podcast, Two Drink Minimum. I'm Bill.
I'm JT.
Tony Marino.
Sergio.
Doris.
This podcast is we're going a little off kilter here. So if you remember back in episode 21, we did favorite films when we were 21 years old. Well, now, being that we're older, we're gonna do favorite movies from when we were 11.
What? That's crazy. First we did 21, now 10 years back?
Yes.
Gee.
We're taking a decade off.
Why wouldn't we just do 10 years old?
11's a better number.
Because
I don't know why.
This one goes to 11.
Yeah, it goes to 11.
That's the best answer I could have.
Who knows why? Eventually, we'll make our way through every years. But you know what? 11. You know what? You're because I'll tell you why. Because 10, you just got into the double digits, right? You don't even know yourself yet. 11.
You just
11
drive.
11's when you start to be, a young adult.
You think you've got it all figured out?
I think 10, you're full of hubris. You're like double digits. I can do anything. 11's where you kind of get a little more grounded, and you're ready to take in everything the world has to offer. So 11.
Literally, you're so full of shit right now. You're just rambling.
Your Coke years are behind you.
I'm just
You can see everything 2020.
11. You're off the hard drugs. You've learned from your past mistakes from the last 11 years.
Probably twice divorced.
Right. Most likely. You've had and lost a job 3 different times.
You finally earn the respect of your stepkids.
Yeah.
They value you as an adult.
Yeah. You just got your own place.
Sure.
You're ready to rate films. So 11 is the year we're picking.
Perfect number. I don't even know why I questioned it.
Exactly. So what films were you excited about? Your favorite ones, best ones in your opinion? It's all on the table. When you were 11, what were you watching? What did you want to see? So it's going to be different years for all of us.
Except for me and JT.
Oh, you guys are doing the same ones.
We're both
similar ages.
1993.
Fair enough.
Did you know 11's a palindrome? It's a 1, then it's a 1.
Or forward.
I don't appreciate the name calling, but all right. Let's get it started. Who wants to start off? The oldest one?
Huh?
Oh,
That's
Sergio.
That's Sergio.
Sergio, what year are you going with? When were you 11?
Well, we're going to go with 1991 because it's a palindrome. No, it is a palindrome, but I wasn't 11 in 91.
Why isn't palindrome spelled palinolap?
I don't know.
That's a really good...
Palindrome, the word is not a palindrome? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it should be that.
I don't know.
Well, that's like, why is it
be more
phonetically spelled phonetically?
Right? Yeah, that's a PH. That's
Yeah, fucking
stupid.
English. That's why.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's fine.
That was a good etymology.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on. Is that
Worst start to a podcast ever. All over the place.
Everybody just
immediately.
turn this off. No, Sergio, what was your favorite film when you were 11?
no, you just made me think of like
How old were you when you were 11, sir?
Hooked on Phonics is also PH, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh man, that's terrible. All right, Sergio, go ahead. Sergio, when were you 11?
So I was 11 years old in 1987, and I have to admit there were some pretty good selections there for 1987. I think my favorite one, I'm going to use this word, I say it a lot.
Phenomenal.
No, not phenomenal, but close.
Iconic?
But no,
yours.
nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
The old nostalgia.
Okay.
Good old nostalgia.
What film fills you with nostalgia, Sergio?
I have to admit, it's going to be Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Great pick.
That's one of those movies. I remember seeing it in a movie theater with my family and laughing my butt off. And then it just became one of those films that every Thanksgiving when our family's together, we watch it over and over and over again. There's just something about John Candy, like, in his peak, if I have to be honest, just because I think that he was just hilarious, like Uncle Buck, like right after that, and all these other great films that he did. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, just hilarious, fun. It's a great John Hughes film.
Sure.
It's a great Thanksgiving film. Like, there's how many Thanksgiving movies do we really have? You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it's like John Hughes was on a roll of like, hey, I'm gonna make sure to make a holiday movie for every different type of holiday. It's just a fun idea. So
you have him at the helm, and then you put in Candy and Steve Martin.
Yeah,
you gold.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like that you laughed your ass off at 11 years old.
Yeah.
When and you're one of the smartest guys I know, but there's no way you could have gotten all those jokes then. But it was still funny.
Oh, yeah.
Because the movie itself, you're right. Those guys, those actors, that writing, the way it was shot, those bits, it's just funny.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't have to be too heady or anything. You get it at a younger age, and you can watch it now, and you're still laughing.
Yeah.
Probably for different reasons, but it still holds up.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where it's just like, I just remember the family. I want to say like going, like, so I have an older sister, 7 years older, and her boyfriend at the time, they're married now. He would always just take us to the movies, me and my other sister, who was only 2 years older than me, would just take us to the movies, not even think about it, just like, hey, I'm going to take your oldest sister out. Why don't you guys come with? And it would just be like, hey, we're just taking you to the movies. And
good guy.
Yeah.
All right.
I just got to see, it was a good year too, because there's he also, I remember going to see Spaceballs in the movie theater that year too. So yeah, trust me.
Solid year.
Solid year.
Automatically, I'm jealous of that right now.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
That was just a really cool, growing up, having a brother-in-law who loved movies and the movie theater experience. So, like I said, I just remember vividly going to a movie theater, seeing that movie, and then it was like year after year watching that movie over and over and over, just because it's continuously funny.
It is. He got your vote of approval right away.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And it is. It's funny. It is, I guess, heavily considered a Thanksgiving film. Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's definitely the.
I mean, that's the
surrounds.
premise.
Yeah,
he's
definitely the premise.
Steve Martin is trying to get home
Sure.
for Thanksgiving dinner. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
and it's got it's got a lot of heart. That ending in that movie too. It's a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, I've welled up once or twice, maybe at the end where he gets invited to Thanksgiving dinner to stay. Yeah, it is great.
It really only works back then though, because nowadays we don't have planes, trains, or automobiles.
We have Uber, Lyft.
Yeah.
God damn, we just talked about dating ourselves.
Right? That's about it. Yeah. That movie we made much differently now. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't. That's just being an asshole.
No, that's that's a good pick. That's nice. Awesome. What's the year again?
87.
87. Excellent.
Gonna drive home with that. What year?
No, I honestly wanted to know.
Fair enough.
And I wanted our listeners to know
Sergio
how old you are. All right. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
Is it because I'm the youngest? Maybe. I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe at heart, but physically, I mean, you look better than me, so.
I'm not going to argue that.
All right, well, then I'll go. So I born in 83, but near the end of 83, November. So, should I go 94? Technically, I'm only 11 years old for 2 months in 94. Nothing, November, December, nothing came out at the end of 94. Let's be honest. So I picked 95. Unfortunately for me, 95, pretty stacked year. but I am going to go with, without doubt, one of my favorite movies of all time, and one of the ones that I believe, it's one of the ones that I own, but when I'm flipping through the channels, if it happens to be on, probably going to watch a scene or two, and that's Braveheart. So Braveheart came out in 1995. I can remember watching that on VHS, rented from Blockbuster Video. So now who's old, Sergio? Still you, because Blockbuster wasn't even around for Planet. No, I'm kidding.
You were
two VHSs.
But you still remember Blockbuster Video?
Braveheart was the first movie I can remember that was 2 VHSs when you rented it.
Oh yeah, because you had to it ended. There wasn't enough tape in the VHS.
And, yes, and I forget what point was the midway point, but
that's Jesus. Imagine all those movies that we saw that were over like 90 minutes. Where you had to stop it, and it takes you out of the scene.
And I can't tell you other ones that were like that, but definitely Braveheart was the one that, in my memory, was 2 cassettes.
There's certain DVDs
or 2
on the
VHSs
shelf
rather
that you have to flip over.
Sure.
That's because that's the same thing when they first started doing
Before
DVDs.
that,
If someone,
before that technology, absolutely.
The longer cuts of Lord of the Rings.
Yes,
I remember that being a thing.
That was right at the end of VHS's life too.
Right.
Like, yes, that's right. Absolutely.
Wait, sorry, sidetrack, but Lord of the Rings had VHS?
No. I said it had two sides.
No, I'm saying like right at the end of
2 sides of a DVD for like the extended
that
cuts.
I remember.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like it was right at the maybe end of VHS was a few years before that, but it was right at the end. Like, weren't they still doing VHS?
I'd say 2001 is when it was completely.
Which is when the first Lord of the Rings
flipped over to
came out, right?
Right.
I feel like the Godfather trilogy was like a 4 or 5 VHS set. I feel like I remember seeing that somewhere where it was like a brick of VHSs to get through.
Yeah, so it was like the end. Okay, so it was right around there, right around that time.
Sorry, so
no. But it was the first time where they, before DVD technology, must have been right before it. But yeah, 2 VHSs. I remember watching that at 11 years old. Not a PG movie. For sure. I forget if it has to be at least P13, if not R. I think probably P13. But, either way, there's some scenes in there that, my parents had to probably tell me to cover my eyes for, but I never did. I'd be like, no, I'm watching Braveheart. This is awesome. It's William Wallace. He's going to kill another guy. Oh, my God. And at 11, that's all that movie was to me. You know what I mean?
Never saw Braveheart.
Never saw it? Still to this day?
Really?
Yeah. And now nobody cares anymore, so I don't care.
Hey, Bill, whose island is it?
My island.
Every time I watch it, I think of you when it gets to that scene.
I've seen little.
You know who does care, JT? This guy right here. Now we're gonna watch it. Now we're gonna have to watch it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one of my. It's up there. It's a top movie for me. Certainly that year. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if anybody who hates Braveheart. Maybe the Scottish folk. Maybe they didn't like. Maybe they didn't like the depiction. I don't know. Maybe they didn't like Mel Gibson playing William Wallace. I don't know. But who knows? That's definitely 95. It's a pretty tough year, but I think Braveheart. I think that year though won what Best Picture, right? Best Director.
Pretty sure. Yeah.
At least Best Director. I think it won Best Picture too.
Who directed that?
Gibson.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Mel Gibson directed it. Andy starred in it. Go figure. He's done that a couple times, but that one's definitely some of his best work. And yeah, I think an iconic film. I'll use your word. That
wasn't my word.
So for 95, I remember that. I remember specifically sitting in my living room, switching out the VHSs because Braveheart was 8 hours long or however long it is. I don't know.
You had to be kind twice.
You had to rewind both part 1 and part 2 for sure.
A lot of people aren't going to get
I wish I could remember the cutoff point because I really feel like when they did the VHSs, the cutoff point never made any sense. Like it just kind of stopped. And then you had to be like, oh, we got to put in the other VHS.
Like mid-sentence?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to remember because I remember I remember an abrupt stop for some reason. Maybe I'm making that up in my head, but I don't know if there was an actual like good cutoff point midway through the movie. So I think it just kind of went. The scene's over. Stop.
When you put in the second tape, was it like previously on Braveheart?
Previously on Braveheart. I am William Wallace. Freedom. All right, you caught up. Watch part 2 now, you fucking wank. All right. Anyway, that's exactly how it went.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, you got your VHS. Oh, you fancy pants. Oh, you can't get a DVD. The Scottish are going to hate this podcast.
I hope so.
We are trending.
We are trending in Scotland right now.
We just lost that market.
Right. Hey, it's fucking wankers.
The following countries Kick Rock does not like: Belgium, Scotland.
I love
France.
Belgium.
I like their waffles.
For the record, love them all.
Germany, the United States of America.
Even all what they do like.
I named our own.
Like Sergio's last 3 years of travel.
All right, anyway, Mr. I've never seen Braveheart for some reason. You're up.
Oh.
You're 11. What do you like?
Oh, I gotcha. Shut up. I, like Bill, was born toward the end of the way end of 81, so I am counting it as 1993 since I spent 361 days of being 11 in that year.
Sure.
That was a good year, as we were looking up stuff to think about. I'm going with, we talk about Batman so much on this podcast, but I got to go with Batman Mask of the Phantasm, because that is the best Batman movie that was released in theaters, by far. And, oh yeah.
Still?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, all right.
Why? What did I...
I like it.
Something better? I don't know.
Yeah, Batman versus Superman.
I thought I would have thought Begins or Dark Knight would be
definitely not Dark Knight. Begins is my second favorite Batman movie. Dark Knight's probably my third, actually.
Okay.
But
so Begins is second to Mask of the Phantasm, the animated one. All right.
Oh God, yeah.
Awesome.
Because Mask of the Phantasm, it was based off the animated series.
Yes.
And everybody that's worth their dollar in Batman knows that is that an expression? I don't think so.
Sure.
I thought you were going to say weight in gold, and it just changed you. Everyone was worth their dollar.
Every Batman fan worth their salt.
Everybody, Batman fan worth their salt knows that the animated series is the best representation of the character.
I agree with that.
Who's Joker?
Mark Hamill.
Wait,
that's the only reason that I agree that I think it's good, because I've heard his laugh and I'm like, yeah, he's Joker.
Hamill's Joker is
hold up
the best.
Was this an animated film?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It was.
You were trying to figure out why you didn't see it.
I'm like, why haven't I?
It was based off the amazing Batman the Animated Series that came out in 1992 after Batman Returns. Okay. So after Batman 89 and 92 were such huge successes, Warner Brothers developed Batman the Animated Series, and it was Paul Dini, who had worked on Tiny Toons and who became like one of the best Batman writers ever. Okay. Wrote most of the episodes, most of the good ones too, and wrote in the comics for a long time too. And Bruce Timm, whose artwork you can just immediately tell it's him from a yard away, a mile away. Right. I was gonna say like 100 yards away. I'm stepping over my words today, but like. Yeah, so it was based off that cartoon, and it's like the best of the comics and like the best of every iteration of Batman at once. You know what I mean? So it's like just a little bit goofy, really dark, but like it's just like the cross section of all his interpretations.
There's that swagger to it.
Yeah. You know? So it's just like the Art Deco look and all that stuff, like the music. Every single episode was scored separately, so it wasn't just stock music constantly. It was animated beautifully, and like their biggest influence was like the Superman cartoons from like the 40s, the Fleischer cartoons, So they decided to make a movie based off of it, and it was supposed to at first go to video, as like a ton of DC movies had after, but like they decided, no, we're taking this to theaters, so they like upped the budget. And
did you see it in theaters?
I did.
That's awesome. I never did.
Yeah, I saw it with my dad and my uncle.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was killer. And I did not see the twist coming at the end or whatever.
Yeah,
I probably would now at this age, but when I was 11, it was like, oh, what? It was that person? You know what I mean? Like it was killer. So. Yeah, it was a really cool story because they showed a little bit of Batman's origins in there, like in flashbacks, but they added a new twist to it where he had like a romance with this girl, Andrea, and then like this Phantasm character who's kind of based off like a Grim Reaper kind of guy from Batman Year 2 in the books shows up and starts just murdering mob bosses, you know? And yeah, actually murdering. They got to do some things in the cartoon. The cartoon pushed a lot of boundaries, but they got to do some things in it on a PG rating that they couldn't in the, on TV or whatever. So
basically being like this anti-hero like Batman is, but doing what Batman won't do.
Right.
Breaking that one rule.
And that's funny because that's the cartoon that first showed me that Batman had that rule that really drilled it into my head. I remember being in the theater as a little kid and Commissioner Gordon goes, "It's garbage. The Batman does not kill. If you want this guy, you find him." And he like leaves. And then like in my head, I'm like, but Batman murdered a lot of people in the Burton movies. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, this is how he's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like that was like the first time that it clicked in my head. Like, oh, right. He's the good guy, so he's not a murderer like he is in the Burton movies. So, I don't know. So that movie kind of showed me that. But the Joker plays a part in the story. And, Marco, why are you laughing?
Because I just had this, side note, they're doing, it's the 30-year anniversary of the Burton films this week, I guess. So AMC's been doing the Burton Batman movies back to back to back. So, well... They're not all Burton, but they're in that same...
The first two are.
The first two are. The third one he produced. Fourth one, I don't know if he had anything to do with Batman. But they are showing all four of them. That started with the Burton one. And I had just made a comment to Megan. I forget which one was on. I think Batman Forever was on. It was just on. We were talking. It was the end.
Four or
three. So it was like end of the workday. We're sitting on the couch just talking. It's on in the background. And like... I forget exactly what happened, but I went, oh, yeah, this is when, it was still okay for Batman to kill people. I remember, there was something that happened of like, he just killed that guy. I'm like, And then, Megan looked at me, of course, and was like, you're nerding out right now. I'm like, yeah, I know, but he's not supposed to kill people. Anyway.
Right.
But yeah, so to your point, but go on.
Yeah, so, this guy in a Grim Reaper mask shows up, starts killing mob bosses, has a personal vendetta. The Joker happens to be on that list, too, and Mark Hamill plays him, and they get to have a showdown at the end of the movie that is just one for the ages. Just awesome performances by Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, who everybody knows are absolutely Batman and the Joker, as their voices, It'll never get better than that. And, it's just a great movie. It was just like, when you watch it, you'll just be like, oh, okay, this is what, because it's like, the score is amazing, like the animation's amazing, the plot is great in a way that like, because like Batman 89 was just like this kitschy romp, it had some dark moments. 92 was like, I don't even know what this is like Tim Burton fever dream. And then Siskel and Ebert even at the time were like, oh, like, Batman can actually be deep and have character development, but it's in a cartoon. So why the hell didn't they do this in those movies? Because they didn't like the first two, you know what I mean?
Right.
At least not that much. So they were like, okay, well, this is probably how it should be, And it would be years later until Batman Begins came out that they would do something that was along those lines,
So I'm assuming you've watched this film recently. And my question to you is...
I watch it. I saw it in theaters just 2 years ago again.
So... You feel the animation holds up now that we're living in a world of like Toy Story and on with Pixar and all of that.
Oh, it's so much better than Toy Story.
Okay, I wasn't comparing it to the Toy Story as a movie, but like the technology has gone into computer graphics and creating animated films.
There were CGI scenes in that movie.
Basically, I'm wondering, like, it holds up.
It does.
What you're saying.
Absolutely.
Like just on another podcast, you really raved about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is an animated movie. Mm-hmm. So two completely different animations, but you'd still put those together as both awesome animated films that still hold up.
Because animation, even animation that happened like 70 years ago can still be really good looking if it was done right.
Yeah.
But then you watch if you watch like a Disney movie from the 40s, you're like, man, this looks good. or the Fleischer Superman cartoons. But then if you watch like He-Man from the early 80s, you're like, all right, this got like $5 for a budget and they made it because of toys.
They were
you know what I mean?
So sell toys back then, right.
But then if you watch a CGI movie like Into the Spider-Verse, you're like, whoa, that's amazing. But then if you watch a CGI cartoon that was made for like $2 that like my nieces watch sometimes, you'll be like, wow, this is, I don't care if this is CGI. This looks really bad. Like you can see where they cut corners and all that stuff, even though it's 3D. You know what I mean? So it always depends on how much work they put into it versus what year it is, you know?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Nice.
No, love that movie. It's awesome.
Good deal, man. Good choice.
You.
That means
follow me.
Looks like it comes down a little on me.
Same year as me.
Well. What does it look like we have here? A couple of boys having a podcast. What are you going to podcast about today, podcast boys? Sorry. I was talking to Bill about this thing earlier. So stupid, I can't even take credit for that.
Podcast. Oh, what you look at you podcasting? What you podcasting about? Probably going to be talking about podcasting. Oh, all right.
All right, so I was looking at movies that were made. I was born in 82, so when I was 11 in 93, and I was looking at movies that were made in 93, and I couldn't find one that I was like excited to see when I was 11. Like you went to the theater and saw yours. Then Bill, you mentioned yours was on VHS. And JT, you mentioned, hey, look, this movie wasn't, nothing good was made until the 4 days later into JT's year. So I'm going to pick something that was released to video in 93.
Whoa.
When I was 11.
Because play with the rules.
I can remember when I first saw it, I was like, holy shit, this changes everything for me as someone who loves movies and just as a human being. And that's Army of Darkness.
Knew it. Yeah, that's right.
I've probably mentioned this on the podcast before, but one of my all-time favorite movies, and I was trying to think, I'm like, what was I really jazzed about seeing when I was a kid? And I could remember renting that at a video store in Pennsylvania in this little podunk town of Point Marion and taking it to my aunt's house and literally, or my grandmother's house, and literally watching it 3 or 4 times like that night when everyone else went to bed. I just rewound it and put it back in and then just sat there and watched it again and just like took it all in. Probably not the best movie for an 11-year-old to be watching, but
I think it is. Yeah. I think that's the perfect age.
When my nieces and nephews, when my nephew Zach, who's the youngest, was 11, I bought the Blu-ray and gave it to them as like, I got them all Christmas presents, but then that was like a group gift that said, this is for the family and you guys all need to watch this together. It'll change your life.
Nice.
But just like
they said,
an awesome movie. That's the movie. I mean, it's part of the Evil Dead trilogy, Sam Raimi. I saw that before I ever saw Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2.
So did I.
You know, I mean, it was just I never even knew those movies existed until years later when it was like, holy crap, you're starting to get into junior high and high school and people are talking about these movies and it's like, oh no, I know who Ash Williams is. And it's like, what? There's 2 prequels? Wait, they existed before this happened?
Yeah.
And it changed everything. But yeah, I'd say, I know I'm kind of cheating with the rules, but that's the movie I was like most excited to see when I was 11-year-old me.
That's cool.
It's a great cheat.
It's awesome. I mean, what else? I mean, you've got one of the biggest assholes of all of cinema who's there to go back in time and save the world. You know what I mean?
Anti-hero.
Total anti-hero, but he's an asshole. He's an asshole. And I love him. I absolutely love him. He's one of my favorite characters of all time.
I always forget, was that movie PG-13 or R? I feel like I can't.
R.
Oh, it wasn't.
Was it?
Okay. R. For that time, it probably.
I was gonna say it's not that bad.
It probably wouldn't be R
by today's standards.
Well, I guess
no way.
I mean, there are some moments like the giant spray of blood out of the. I don't know.
There's more blood in.
Do they still have? Do they still have a blood?
It's like a light R, though. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I guess there still is that blood. There's an actual blood count you can have, right?
I would guess now, if that was released, that'd be a PG-13.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, because
he had just had the one F-bomb in the movie where it was. I just love it too, where he's just like, yeah. Get the fuck out of my face.
That sounds right, though. I think it probably would be a P-13 now, because you look at some of these movies that come out. I mean, you know, now they call them.
I don't even fucking know these guys.
Oh yeah, they call them torture porn right now.
These assholes before.
Yeah. Oh, it's assholes. I've never even seen these assholes before.
But compared to like a Saw movie or something, it's not that gory.
No, not at all. Like they show some things. Like if he's got a chainsaw hand and he's cutting ghouls in half. Sure. But like they're ghouls, and there's a lot of blood, but it's not like ultra gore or people are being dismembered, but it's not on camera.
Boomstick does what the boomstick does, you know.
And that was one of those things too, where it's like you see it as a kid, and you know that the CGI or a lot of the effects are practical.
Sure.
A lot of it's green screen, and a lot of it's like shitty CGI.
Yeah.
And you see it as a kid, and
really pre-CGI. Yeah. There's a lot of stop motion.
Oh, there's a lot of stop motion for a lot of the skeleton action and stop motion.
All of the that's
Well, there's a ton
but it still looks cool. Though.
Yeah, and like there's a ton.
There's something about that stop motion where you're like, it is cool looking.
Yeah, when he's fighting like.
I should love that kind of animation.
When after he burns and he's skeleton, right. That's all that stop motion, which is cool. But like, you go back and watch some of it, and you're like, oh, all right, that was clearly like green screened or clearly stop animation. But like, it's still fun, man. Sure. I'll still watch that movie over and over again. It's just a good time. Yeah, 11-year-old me, it changed everything.
I think I first saw it when I was 16 at like my buddy John's house, and like his brother Tom was watching it, and like. I was just like I guess I'd never seen anything like that before where I was just like, oh, okay, so it's like medieval and there's a bunch of skeletons and they're fighting them and all this stuff. And I'm like, but this guy's a jackass. Like, and like this movie's not taking itself seriously at all. Like, what is this? You know what I mean? Like,
it's like,
what's happening?
And like Tom just goes to me and he's like, oh no, we need to restart this and you need to pay attention to this guy because every line that comes out of his mouth is a one-liner. And I'm like, all right. And like,
it's true.
It was amazing.
It's true. One of the best characters of all time. 11-year-old me pick was Army of Darkness. Yeah. Sorry, I kind of bent the rules there.
All right, it's that time where we, I think we still have a little bit of time. We can do some honorable mentions here. Honorable mentions round. Favorite movies when you were 11 years old. Sergio.
Go!
Start us off.
I'm going to say the one that I already mentioned when I was first talking. I'm going to mention two. So Spaceballs, obviously. Great freaking film. Remember seeing that one in the theaters, which is awesome. But then, what's the other one that takes just one little notch above it? Princess Bride.
Oh, that was 87?
Nice. That was 87.
Shit, dude.
You got a stacked year, man.
That's one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah,
5-year-old me was like, yeah, Sergio.
That movie was just like, it's just one of those awesome stories, and just the way it even starts, where we got Columbo and why am I forgetting his name?
Fred Savage.
Fred Savage. Just sitting there with like Grandpa telling his, grandson a story.
Tell you a story about Buttercup.
Yeah, and
have you ever met somebody that doesn't like that movie?
No, I don't think so.
I haven't either. I feel like if I ever did,
it might be one of those few perfect movies where it appeals to most people.
Yeah. I wouldn't like tell them they're wrong. I wouldn't be a snotty person. I would reach for their neck and beat them savagely.
It feels like an epic. It's definitely a love story. It's also definitely a comedy.
And it's definitely perfect for kids.
It's got it all. Yeah. It's got it all.
Anybody want a peanut?
Oh, thank you. Before I had to ask, you're the best.
I will say there's something that's been going around on the old Facebook lately where it's like, why Princess Bride is a perfect movie? Let's watch a movie. Princess Bride is great. Got any action movies? Princess Bride. Romance? Princess Bride. Family movie? Princess Bride. Comedy? Princess Bride. Fantasy? Princess Bride. Any movies with famous wrestlers?
Princess Bride. Well, there you go.
It's like this top 10 list of like why that movie rules. And it's like, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, man.
It does. It does. It appeals to whatever you're in the mood for.
Yeah, it puts a big dumb smile on your face.
It does, yeah. So it is one of those just like, aw. Like you see it on, you're like,
so
that's a great movie.
Yeah. So that's my honorable mention.
Nice.
After saying it, I kind of feel like maybe I should have made that my main choice. But
did you guys see Carrie Ells in Stranger Things season 3?
Yes,
like
as the mayor.
He's not.
I guess I just
he's seen up to there.
It's not a spoiler. I haven't seen him in a minute, and I'm just like, oh man, he got old. Like what the fuck, like. I don't know. Did they make him look older? Because I feel like he aged like 50 years in 10 years.
He still got it.
Oh, he does for sure.
The Elvis still got it.
Carrie Elwes.
Carrie Elwes still got it. That being said,
80s James Marsden.
Make a sequel to Princess Bride. Hold on, let me clarify, because this day and age, don't remake Princess Bride.
Make the sequel.
Make a sequel.
but don't ruin it. All right, good. Go. Wait, actually, just leave it. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. Don't you dare touch Princess Bride.
I regret everything I just said.
Hold on.
Retract. Sergio, delete this.
This podcast is called Two Drink Minimum. You can't listen to a word we say. Don't you dare touch Princess Bride. All right,
who directed that? Rob Reiner?
Yes, he did. Yeah. Yes, he did. Yeah.
I'm Rob Reiner. You remade my movie. Prepare to die.
I'd like to go back and take a look at all of our favorite picks, because we've done this a ton of times on our podcast, favorites, whatever. I'd love to cross-reference who directed and wrote and see who has the same writers, the same directors, because I bet a lot of them are the same.
Repeat themselves.
Oh, I'm sure. Where it's just kind of like we all kind of come back to that familiar voice that's telling the story.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Bill.
And people who are listening right now go, of course they're going to say that. They already know. We can't remember what we said, but they do. Because they're loyal fans, aren't you? All right.
They won't.
Honorable mention for me. So I'm gonna go with the 2. 95. Tough year. Good year for movies. So first honorable mention, very cheesy comedy, but I don't care. I love it. Billy Madison.
Yeah.
95.
That was 95. Yeah,
I would watch that movie over and over again.
I remember seeing that in theater.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's Sandler's big break into movies, arguably.
Not Overboard? Sorry.
Not Overboard. And I have seen Overboard. And really I like Overboard. I do like Overboard. But Billy Madison. Yeah. Billy Madison was the big one, I think, that took him to the next level where got him to where he's currently at today.
Which Overboard? Was he in the remake? Or
no.
something?
No, he's in it. Really,
no.
The cover of the DVD is him doing this.
Yes, but it's called Going Overboard.
Going Overboard.
I thought you meant like Kurt Russell and Going
Overboard. No.
Listen,
I like that movie too.
That movie is a gem.
Which actually got remade recently, and I don't think it did very well.
They gender swapped.
You know why? Because you can't mess with the Han and the Russell. That's why you can't.
You also can't call it the Han.
The Han.
The Goldie?
Watch out. It's the Han.
The Goldie?
Just say Goldie Russell.
Just call Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. They deserve it.
Mayor Goldie Hawn.
I'm gonna call him Goldie Russell. So did you?
Yeah, they call him Goldie Russell.
Yeah, Kurt Hahn's kind of
K-Hahn.
K-Hahn.
G. Russell.
Goldie Russell. All right. So Billy Madison, for sure. 95. Still one of my favorite slapstick comedies. And I'm with you. Like, now that I think about it, I probably should have made this my first pick.
Okay.
Because when I look at it, even when I was 11, I got it. I loved this movie. Mm-hmm. I followed along through all the twists and turns and everything, and that is The Usual Suspects.
Ooh.
And I love that movie to this day, and I still remember the first time, spoiler alert, when I found out the twist of the whole Kaiser Soze thing. I was like,
I thought that was
oh my God!
I thought that was the late 90s. That was 95?
95.
No shit.
95.
That was one of those, and I can remember my head exploding too at the moment it happened, where it was just like, holy shit, everything.
What's great about that twist is upon a second watch, still good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because then you pick up on, that's him, that,
Oh yeah, the whole time.
You get it. And it's still good.
That was still before Bryan Singer slowly ruined Dexter.
Oh, yeah.
Was Shawshank also the same year, 95?
I don't know. No, I
feel like Shawshank is another one of those where it's like a great freaking reveal.
Shawshank Redemption.
Chicago.
When was that?
I don't know. It was around that time. I'm not sure if it was 95.
Usual Suspects is like,
I love
hands down, if you're gonna reference a movie that has a great twist, that is your go-to.
Still one of my.
Here's one that really tricks the audience.
Still one of my favorite films,
and it's a great movie just to watch.
Yeah. Great performances throughout. One of the best scenes of all time. In my opinion, and there's a couple of them. There's a couple of good scenes in the movie, but I love the lineup scene.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what everyone thinks of. That's the cover art of the VHS.
Yeah,
that's we've all watched that.
Where they bring in the quote "Usual Suspects" is a great scene in that film.
And there's that line afterwards. He's like, this was basically the cops' fault for bringing us all together.
Yeah.
You should never put this group of guys in the same room together.
Right.
Yeah.
They know we're not going to say anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I only saw it the one time, but I remember liking it, and I remember not guessing the ending and being pretty shocked.
Yeah, and you know, and at 11, I'm not going to guess that ending, but I still remember though being, you know, whereas like it's weird because like I remember watching Braveheart going, oh, William Wallace is this great warrior, and oh my God, you know, and you know,
Oh, William
this great epic. Oh, William Wallace. You know, but I remember seeing that movie.
Sword over there.
I remember watching that movie. So maybe my taste in film changed when I was 11. Who knows? Maybe that's the magic year, because my memories of Braveheart are like, yes, this epic, all the battles. That's all I want to see. But I also remember seeing Usual Suspects for the first time. And totally following along with that mystery story, being like, oh, this is, all right, who's that? Oh, what did that mean? Who's that?
Two completely different genres. And even at 11, it was probably just, maybe that's when you really just started appreciating film. It was like,
yeah.
Or, you know, we all appreciate a good story being told, and both those were told pretty well. So, you know.
But yeah, the first time you see that twist, I mean, you can't beat that.
You know, you see the tack board when he starts glancing. He starts replaying all of his lines in his head. With,
the coffee cup, slow motion falling and breaking. And it says Kobayashi on the bottom. You're like, oh my God. Yeah.
It's like the whole thing. Yeah.
Back in Skokie, Illinois, when I was at a barbershop quartet. Just like all those little details.
Yeah.
It's the best way to reveal a twist. Like the recap.
The in-your-face recap.
The in-your-face recap.
Hey, Chaz, you fucked up.
Yeah.
The in-your-face recap is, yes, absolutely.
Kaiser Sose sounds like a drink. Hey, give me 3 Kaiser Soses.
I don't
know.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that
you don't know what it is. Like they're just like, all right, surprise me. Give me a Kaiser Sose.
Give me a Kaiser Sose.
Blindly pour a bunch of shit in there.
It's like a Sazerac.
Literally just whiskey and Tabasco.
I'll take a Sazerac and Kaiser Sose.
Dude, Sazerac's
well,
delicious.
no, a true Kaiser Sose is they give you the drink, you drink it, and then 2 hours later they slap you in the face and tell you what it really was.
Nice.
Hey-yo. All right, anyway.
Hey.
JT, what's your honorable mention?
Oh, it's my turn. I'm picking Hot Shots Part 2. Because I probably watched that movie like fucking 50 times that year, like in the theater, and then when it came out on VHS. And I just...
Who directed that?
That was Abrams.
Was it Abrams? Okay.
Because it was the Zucker Abrams of Airplane. It was the Abrams part.
Right.
Jim Abrams, right? Yeah. So he did the first one and the second one. And
J.J. Abrams?
I love J.J. Abrams.
What's Jim's middle name?
Z.Z. Abrams.
Probably good that you clarify, because everybody right now is going, J.J. Abrams?
I love the first one. I still remember seeing it in the
everything.
theater when I was like 3rd grade or whatever, because that was a couple years earlier. What was it, 91, I think? Yeah. The second one just cracked me up, and it still cracks me up, and it's so wrong these days because of what happened in Iraq and everything. And like Saddam Hussein is how he's portrayed in that movie and stuff. No, but like after everything with the 2000s Iraq War, you know what I mean? Because it was like Operation Desert Storm was already kind of over by the time like whatchamacallit came out.
You're literally laughing at the Bob volume Saddam's laugh. When you had that stupid laugh, we all knew what scene you thought of.
Saddam Hussein in the first movie, but in the second one, that was his only. That guy played him for like 1 second in the first movie, but in the second one, he was like, you know, like just this goofy ass villain who like you see from frame 1 or whatever, like. And all the stupid jokes, like the saran wrap in his fridge is called Saharan wrap, like like stuff you gotta look for, you know. And Lloyd Bridges is just amazing in that movie as the president, you know. Oh my god, he just stole the show. He has the best lines and the best gags. He's like, sabotage, what does it mean? My god. And he's like, it means we gotta tighten security, sir. No, the word sabotage, what does it mean?
So stupid.
And then he's like, oh, yeah, no, of course. And then, like, his wife walks in the door, and he just, like, grabs her. It's like, I think we got our saboteur. Sir, that's your wife. Oh, yeah, so it is. You're looking as pretty as the day I met you. Find out what she knows. He, like, opens up the Abraham Lincoln bust of the head, and there's, like, brain cookies in there. Oh, so great. Or the exchange between him and Topper. I'm just gonna fucking just start riffing off like the fucking lines in that movie when he's like Topper Harley. He's like President Benson, you know, like he's like, no, you're not. I've seen him on TV. He's an older man about my height. He's like, no, sir, this is Topper Harley. Oh, of course, Topper. Yeah, let's go talk. He's like, by the way, I wouldn't go around calling yourself the president. It just doesn't hold water. In fact, neither do I. Let's get away from these power cables. You see them standing next to loose wires, and they just like move off the screen and go talk somewhere else.
In fact, neither do I.
That is so perfect. So no, but whereas the first one was a spoof on Top Gun, the second one was mostly Rambo 2 and 3.
Right? Yeah.
Because it starts out with the Rambo 3 scene where, you know, he's like...
Oh, that's right. It comes out of water.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen, right? Yeah.
He's like, you know, fighting in like Thailand or whatever. And like just dipping their arms in broken glass and stuff. And
candy.
Yeah, he's dipping in candy and you hear everybody go like, gummy bears! M&M's, gummy bears.
It's so stupid.
Well, that's like blood sport.
It's like, glue and glass, and then he's got caramel and M&M's. And it's like, God damn it, this is so stupid.
I just love that, like, comedies like that, like, have the kind of budget that we just don't right now. So it's like, they can afford to, like, have this whole ESPN setup where these two guys are like, both fighters are looking very fatigued. You know what I mean? And then, like, cut away from it. And that's the last time you see them. You know what I mean? It's like, there's 1 second of film. Like, one gag cost that much. It was hilarious. I just love those movies because they play it so straight. And the things they're saying are stupid goofy, but they're as serious as a drama, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That and honorable mention for Loaded Weapon 1, which Tony and I talk about sometimes.
It's a stupid, wonderful comedy. It's right on the same. It's on the same wavelength.
Yeah, and it was starring a Estevez.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There was Emilio in that movie, and it was Charlie Sheen in the other one.
Yeah.
Valerina Golino, just to give her the shout out.
Real name?
Yep.
What has she done lately?
She talks like this. Yes, I don't know. But she played Ramada Radam Heyman.
Oh, that's right. If you look at the credits in that movie, every single female character's middle name is Rodham.
Like, shut up.
Like Hillary Rodham.
Like Hillary Rodham. That's hilarious.
That's fucking great. I never noticed that.
Yeah. If you look at the credits some more, there's like, you know,
I remembered her from Rain Man more than that, but recently, I don't know. She's great in those movies, though.
Yeah. Nice, man. Nice honorable mention.
Tony.
I'm going to follow the rules this time. An 11-year-old me in 1993.
Rules.
I don't remember seeing this as a kid. I was definitely not 11 when I saw it for the first time. Probably in my teens, early teens. But True Romance. One of my
I hope you didn't see that when you were 11.
Yeah, right? Little violent. I actually think that's another thing where I saw out of order. I think Pulp Fiction was the first Tarantino movie I ever saw, followed by Reservoir Dogs, and then I eventually saw True Romance.
Yeah. He wrote that.
He wrote True Romance, and then Ridley Scott directed it. But I love that movie. I love the story. Anything that involves, a love story and gunplay, I'm pretty much a fan of. Yeah. If you could pepper in the King and drug lords and Chris Walken as one of his best characters ever, Blue Boyle, pretty fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it. And then Hans Zimmer did the music, so
I don't know, the rundown with that Tooth Fairy speech.
God damn it. Listen.
Pretty good one, but the scene with
that weird Irish guy is a better character in the rundown than anybody else in it. And what blew my mind is when I first saw that movie, I expected so much more and it was terrible. But Ernie Reyes Jr., the dude from he was in one of the Ninja Turtles movies.
Yeah, he was Kino in Secret of the Use.
Okay, so he's in the rundown and is just absolutely shredded. He's that little dude who beats the shit out of the Rock.
No shit.
And I was like, oh my God, that's the dude from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So yeah.
Never saw Surf Ninjas. Sorry, keep going.
I did. I saw it a lot. I saw Surf Ninjas a lot. It was always on TV. It was always on TV.
Surf Ninjas is a great movie.
It's not. It's terrible.
No, we're talking about that next podcast.
It's a terrible movie.
Surf Ninjas
but it was on all the time.
Oh
my God, Leslie Nielsen was the bad samurai villain in that.
Yeah. Yes, he was.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible movie. All right. Anyways, True Romance.
Ernie Reyes Sr. played Satch.
That's right. He had the icon.
Trainer, yep.
My God, we do need to talk about this.
We will talk about this next time.
So stupid. Wait,
Rob Schneider was in the movie as well.
So was a little rapper I like to call Tone Loc. He was some sort of cop or parole officer or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Literally, I picked a great movie called True Romance. We've talked more about surf ninjas than anything.
Wait. You got the key? Swallowed it. I swallowed it last Tuesday. How'd you know you were going to eat it? Swallowed every Tuesday.
So stupid. How
it's
are
a
you
great movie.
Surf ninjas?
Because it's a great movie.
It's a terrible movie.
Money can't buy knives. Okay? We're going to leave it at that.
Let's let Tony talk about True Romance now.
Continue True Romance. Shouldn't have brought up surf ninjas. Really?
All-star cast. It's a great movie. I'm just going to run down the cast really quick. Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Dennis Hopper, Val Kilmer, Gary Oldman in one of his best characters of all time. What's a Drexel? Yeah. Fantastic. A young Brad Pitt, Chris Walken. Oh my God, I forgot. Belky was in it, man.
Belky. You don't even say his real
Bronson.
name. Bartakamus.
Pincoat. Sam Jackson, Michael Rappaport. Dude, it's just James Gandolfini.
It is stacked.
It's literally so stacked. Yeah.
It's a good Tiger Army song.
Man, I'm going to watch that tonight. Reference. As soon as you guys leave, I'm going to watch this again.
Really quick, before we wrap it up. In True Romance, the Dennis Hopper.
Yeah. Chris Walken.
Yeah. Did you already say that?
No, but Blue Little Boyle, the character, Chris Walken's was one of the best. And
is that I haven't committed a crime
since whatever year he...
Yes.
Spoiler alert, before he shoots off.
That dialogue.
Oh, the back and forth?
The back and forth and the performance of it is
Dennis Hopper's monologue,
amazing.
Basically, where he says,
Yeah. Can I have one of those Winchesters now? Oh,
the
God.
Moors invaded Sicily.
Yeah. Hold on. I found that scene. I found it.
You did?
God damn it.
Oh, Mac and me. All right.
Hey, Paul Rudd, if you're listening, we really appreciate it.
Paul Rudd, we got your back, brother. He's totally listening. All right. Well, it's that time. Tony, do your thing.
I haven't done this in so long. You've been listening to Kicker Rocks Podcast 2 Drink Minimum with Bill, JT, Sergio Torres coming at you from WDX. Keep it on down low. Bow now. Torres.
Might be a little much.
Hey, cool man.
Cut it. All right. Well, that is our episode of 2 Drink Minimum. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, a lot of you are probably asking, why did they pick 11 years old to do a podcast about? Why not 10? 10's a nice round number. Well, the answer is because 11 is 10 plus 1 year wiser. So there's your answer right there. So if you didn't like our picks, too bad. If you did like our picks, we're geniuses. That's how this podcast works. Don't you know that by now? Listen, if you liked it, if you disliked it, if you agree, if you disagree, you know where you can tell us. You can go on our Facebook page. You can like, you can comment right on there. You can subscribe, which I hope you do because you know you want to get more of these good podcasts coming through your newsfeed all the time. Go ahead and subscribe on iTunes, on Spotify, whatever your podcast medium choice is. Thank you again. We love you guys listening to us. This has been 2 Drink Minimum. We've been drinking, thinking, and talking shop. Cheers, everybody.